Introductionary theme. JTAKRAOSPE7. Behind again, I know, couldn't be helped. My planet needed me. Also, dry throat. But this time it's Force 26, and that's it. A few episodes behind now, but there's a decent reason for me to only do one this time. You see, this was a crappy arc, so I need podcast numbers to distance myself from it. At the least, too bad for once I have other stuff to talk of. That's right, I mean Quantum Leap. What's that, you ask? I don't really expect you to have to ask that. I should hope you were raised better. But I'll explain anyway. Showered with quantum rays, Dr. Samuel Beckett solves the troubles of insignificant people in the past by taking over their bodies and making out with their girlfriends. Then he solves sexism in the past by taking over women's bodies and making their boyfriends a sandwich. Then he solves racism in the past by taking over the bodies of black people. And that's Quantum Leap, a swell series. It's a show what shows why Scott Bakula is one of the better Scotts that isn't an immortal or 7th generation Time Lord or wealthy talking duck. The show itself was magnificent for the issues it tackled and subsequent fake issues it faked tackling for the sake of keeping on longer than Sliders. A worthy cause, as Sliders gives me the craps. Related to this, I guess I'll mention Mass Effect 3. Might as well, it's in my notes when I wrote up the review for this one a few weeks ago, and I thought I could at least turn one up for the little break. But worry not, I'll not mention the ending, as, well, BioWare, so there is no ending. Also, I'm not there yet. But what I will say is I've never felt a game judge me in such a way before now, not so harshly. You see, the series is famous for having a romance system, wherein you can kiss someone and have implied sex by fading to black without either person disrobing. Surely this was something to see, thought I, so I worked to woo the ladies of the game for some juicy lip-on-lip action. Things seemed to go swell with the plucky new recruit until she dropped the L word and I just wasn't also a lesbian. Still, there was the woman from the last game who talked by shaking her ass at the camera. She died after 3 conversations. Thought I, there's still this Russian assassin robot chick. I bet she'll join your crew. She gets taken over by your ship's AI, so the Russian accent's gone, and you know, that's the best part of the kinkiness there, so why would you bother? And the ship's AI, of course, is into Seth Green just to spite me anyway. And that leaves me with the androgynous blue hippie from Farscape and another Russian robot who doesn't have a face and sounds like she's 12. I know the latter sounds promising, but at this point I think the game is only gonna let me hook up with Hobbs from Wing Commander. But then I'll just be playing tiddlywinks with my heart while he cheats on me and that little peeing bastard Calvin. On to the episode, Force 26, the 27th episode. Oh, right, when last we left our heroes, the madness had taken me, so, once again, not for honor, but for you.
It's about time. We start off on the field of battle, with Force's exosuit-driving ally crushing the monster that was formed from another monster's hair. Elsewhere, Papa Bjorn Bjarsengard is getting the rest of this hair problem dealt with. He sets up to finish off the mangy matron of magic manes, but Clawful blocks his final attack. Who'd have guessed? The big flashy technique wasn't any use in a crab battle. Luckily for Bjarsengard, Clawful has other places to be, so he escapes with the other monster and covers their trail by puking up bubbles? My God, he's more powerful than I imagined.
I mean, something that isn't a grunt. So that fight's done, for now. And what's the first thing Bjarsengard does? Why, he mocks his fatigued friend who was piloting that exosuit so as to help him not die in that last fight. You see, their usual go-to pilot for that thing is Captain S, but he was busy getting rejected by Queen Bitch, who likes Bjarsengard because unlike Captain S, he's not completely obnoxious. Well, yeah, he's totally obnoxious, but he's also oblivious, which makes him more attractive somehow. Speaking of the oblivious Rocket Man, he's going to see why Captain S is in the dumps. Instead of explaining how there's, you know, a whole love polygon thing going on, Captain S just shoves Bjarsengard with the girliest shove his jockself could muster, then storms off. Then the opening plays out, before we can think too hard about why there's teen drama in a show about superheroes. After that, we see Queen Mitch on the moon, packing her crap so as to remind us all that she's leaving the show forever. Definitely. Probably. Back on planet Earth, Rosengard and pals are being bummed out for that very reason. Even Donna Troy is thinking to himself, "This sucks Spaceballs. With Queen and Captain gone, that boring douchebag might think he should have more lines." Lucy then appears out of somewhere to tell the rest of them that Thing 1 and Thing 2 aren't going through with their graduation ceremony, which I guess she thought was shocking, more so than the reason the interview with Scoop Hippopotamus last time, in which Thing 1 and Thing 2 openly admit to being space monsters. See, Scoop Hippopotamus actually followed up on that by reporting that they were space monsters, which was unexpected. Granted, it was published in the school newspaper, but we'll assume that in fictional Japanese space high schools, the school newspaper is credible. Well, it makes more sense than that gadget that was thrown into space that popped up underground. No, it doesn't. But because of this school newspaper, the graduation has been cancelled, presumably by the faculty, which I remind you is comprised of space monsters. But luckily, the existence of space monsters only seems to affect the graduation ceremony, as classes will resume as normal, and so will the prom. Oh yeah, this was about the prom, wasn't it? On that solemn thought, it's Biff Pow back to the moon, where Fjordsengard is noticing someone on the moon. It's Queen Mitch, moping of course, so he goes to ask her what's up. She explains that the high school prom will be the most important moment of her life and she needs to spend it with someone special, and every time I try to watch this scene I just black out from boredom, so forgive me if I miss something important, but when I come to, Captain S is punching Fjordsengard in the face! Cap even makes his knuckles bleed. I like that. I'm gonna use that. Then Captain S does his best to spell out to Fjordsengard that Queen Bitch likes him and, blacking out again. Yeah. Oh good, scene change to, sign saying Diploma Award Ceremony. Thrilling. I guess they uncancelled it. And there's Boring Douchebag, just who I wanted to see. He's calling out Scoop Hippopotamus as the monster since she was the only new person introduced this arc, and knowing that trying to hide her nature would steal focus from the prom we've still gotta get to, Scoop Hippopotamus just drops the act and all but does an evil cackle. "That's right," she says. "It was me all along. I love this school, by golly, and I want to stay here forever. So my brilliant plan was to let hair monsters wreck up the school, use them to convince people that the space monster problem's getting a wee bit out of hand, and somehow use that to postpone graduation forever. But the hair monsters didn't look good enough, so no one would buy it, and I had to make them change shape to space monsters from earlier episodes with better designs. Luckily, for some weird reason, I was approached by 2 of the old space monsters who wanted to come clean about being space monsters, which provided me with pretty good cover until you asked me if I was a space monster, and I had to tell you because, well, I'm lonely."